The Walking
Your
Dead.
fault.
Let's get onto this.
Is
Walking
this
Dead
something
review.
that we are like okay with spoilers at this point?
Oh yes.
Okay, so if you're watching this, spoilers.
Walking Dead. All the reviews here are definitely filled with spoilers. So if you haven't seen this yet,
because we are way too lazy to watch for that.
Right.
I'm not gonna make some like passing side comments, so some of you were like, "Oh, I know what he's talking about."
Not that this was a major episode either.
I think it was.
Well,
I think it was.
There was kind of a
good. I think it's a really good indication of just how powerful Negan is.
Are you talking about? So we're talking about the episode 2 with King Ezekiel.
Yes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
What do you mean?
As far as Negan's influence,
his rule, like
how? Okay, so let's get into this. So we are introduced to the kingdom, and
cute little place,
quite quaint. We have the
cleanest of all the places in this place,
the nicest
so far.
of all the places.
It's.
I mean, my goodness, Rick has never done this good of a job leading any of the groups.
No,
he's been part of,
and this guy's fake.
Yeah, so
and not crazy.
We kind of got introduced, just barely got a teaser of a couple of the knights, I guess, of the kingdom that were able to help
like
Morgan
in the morning or in the beginning, not the morning.
Right. Well, I'm thinking that's towards the end of season 6 when Carol was having problems and Morgan came and saved her. You know, a couple guys on horseback wearing football jerseys.
That
we got a little bit of a glimpse back then at the end of season 6. So
back then,
episode 2, season 7, we get which was called The Well.
We have 5 viewers. Oh my gosh,
5 viewers, awesome.
Well, I'm one of those. I think you are too. So.
Oh, true. We are puffing up our numbers so much. Friday night, you know. It's a low turnout. But the kingdom does kind of make like any other group or community just seem like they are teetering on the
like they're cavemen, like
right. And
and these guys are like and they're still better than everyone else.
Yeah. And there were a lot of characters introduced. Of course, we have King Ezekiel, who has Shiva, the tiger. Who, by the way, the group that I watched this with, one of the people said that they thought the tiger looked super, super fake. I thought it looked great.
No, there are multiple sections of it that it's like you can tell the tiger's real. And the first time she's introduced, it is the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Are you talking about the roar? What looked fake about that?
If I can't describe it to you, but if you look it up, then I'll be like, okay, here.
Like, of course, I knew it was a CGI tiger.
Yeah,
because I've seen Chronicles of Narnia.
The movement wasn't. That was a lion.
Similar.
The movement was chunky, like. It was awkward, and it bothered me. Like, it actually bothered me about how fake that looked right there. And then, like, it was obviously a real tiger at one point. And then it was, like, so there was a real tiger there. I don't know if you knew that, but there was a real tiger there at one point.
Well, according to the Talking Dead, they had a stuffed tiger mock-up so that they would have something to act
Are you
off
sure?
of.
Because my mom, I don't know. I don't usually believe my mom about anything. But she said something about hearing an interview with the King Ezekiel. I don't know his name. But that he said he was really nervous about the whole situation because, like, I don't know, it might have been something else.
Fun fact about King Ezekiel's actor. I will look up his name, but you ever watch Teen Titans?
Yes.
Voice of Cyborg.
Cyborg?
I am not kidding you.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
And he's done a whole bunch of like video game and cartoon voice acting. Oh, that's so cool. I'm so glad that he has this role.
That was weird. What was I saying? Yeah, but there was a section where it looks really real, and then there are a few bits where you're just like, "Whoa, like that's fake." And it was very noticeable to me, and like it bothered me, but then I got over it because it's The Walking Dead and I had other things to pay attention to. So
Carrie Payton.
Carrie Payton?
Carrie Payton is the guy who plays King Ezekiel. Yeah,
great hair.
For considering TV, CGI, special effects,
I got over it.
You ever see Supergirl?
No.
So
I don't know.
Okay. So they put the first season on Netflix and we watched. Martian Manhunter is in it. Are you familiar with that character from Justice League? No. Okay.
I'm bad with superheroes. Real bad.
Well, he's a Martian. He's green. He's got red eyes.
Like from the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, not that Marvin the Martian.
They're good at that, man. That's creepy.
They did something with Martian Manhunter. The entire time he is on screen, I don't think all of him is CG, but at least his head is, because it's too. To me, it looks good. It looks good for TV. Like it's actually like on the level of I would expect to see this in a movie quality. And TV CG effects are just to me getting much better.
Yeah,
like that.
To a point where it's just you overlook it.
To me, this tiger seems the tiger looked more real to me than Aslan.
First of all, it's been years.
It's been years, but I put him pretty high up as far as a realistic talking lion.
Let me see.
I don't know. I thought the tiger was great, but we're not.
Tiger is great. Regard, it's cool. There's a king that has a tiger. Like it's cool.
But I don't know.
Also, tigers are like my favorite animal. So besides otters and sloths, I really want to. That's something I want to do when I go to college is to study environmental sciences and animal conservation, and I want to be part of bringing tigers back from the brink of extinction. So that should be fun. Hopefully, an apocalypse doesn't happen by that time.
Yeah, hopefully you get to actually see a tiger and not have it be under the same conditions. Yeah. So as far as what happens though, see, and this is a great example of you kind of being introduced to a crazy situation as a viewer. They bring in Carol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it. I liked that.
And during the Talking Dead, like someone put this up real well. They said and she just starts her little innocent act, making people think that there's nothing odd or strange or dangerous about her.
This woman at all. Yeah,
right.
She's a nice grandma.
Oh, she's a nice lady. I'm so glad we're able to help her out in her hour of need. But apparently right then and there Ezekiel saw through that, because he talks about the pomegranates when they offer her some fruit, and he basically describes the pomegranate in a way where the pomegranate...
I noticed that.
Yeah.
And I liked that, and I caught on to that real quick. But then later, he says, "You even fooled me at first, but now I'm not." When they were out in the garden, he says the word "me fooled."
Well, the fruit is introduced a little bit later in that scene. So maybe at the very first impression of her, but when she kind of kept up the whole like, this is so, like, maybe she poured it on too thick.
Well, I don't know. He did say don't BS a BSer. So it was like, and that's a true thing. Like,
right. If you are putting up an act, it's an interesting thing. It's actually an interesting thing about human characteristics, whatever you want to call it. If you are doing something, you have a heightened level for detecting that. Yeah. When it's an ugly topic, but cheaters, people that are cheating on their significant others, they're almost like paranoid. Like, they think that, maybe my significant other is cheating on me, and it's always at the forefront of their mind, because that's currently what they're engaging in.
They're also doing that as well.
Right. So it makes sense to me that someone who is putting on an act, which King Ezekiel is, would be able to tell when other people are putting up an act. This episode left me with a lot of questions as far as how much King Ezekiel has interacted with Negan's group. We know he's acted with the group. Has he interacted with the man, though?
Real quick about King Ezekiel. What I like about King Ezekiel, I don't think he does anything bad. Like, I'm looking at, he lies to his people, but he's got his reasons, and it's not that big of a deal. He's got a tiger, so, like, who really cares? It's like, it doesn't matter who's good in this show. There's always something bad about him. And I don't get that impression at all. Like, he's literally like 100%, I do what I want to do. I do what I think is right.
Yeah. The show has trained us to the point where we don't believe when we get introduced to good characters, we're always trained like, nope, they're hiding something. There's something off about them.
I don't get it at all with him.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Because I figured there would be. I mean, like, any leader in the show, even Rick's crazy. Like,
yeah, he has his moments where he just becomes a dictator as opposed to a leader.
And so any leader that's presented in this world is just messed up. And I don't get it with him at all. I feel like he's just like, yeah, I know I'm acting. Leave me alone. It's like, what he's doing, the bad that he's doing is so innocent compared to everything else going on in the world.
Let's talk about the bad that he's doing. I mean, he, like, we have this whole subplot of them basically feeding pigs walkers.
Yeah.
And at first, I'm sure everyone was like, whoa, why are you feeding them
walker
meat?
And then I was like, ooh, there's something weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, now I get it. Chris says it in the episode, he's like, I want their bellies full of rot. And then he's like, and then they're like, nobody needs to know what happened here today. I'm like,
whoa. Yeah, it's like red flag.
It's like, okay, they're not great.
Yeah, this guy's up to something.
But no, they're actually still all pretty cool.
But it's like, okay, well, then you find out, they're taking those pigs, slaughtering them, and they're giving them to Negan's men for food.
Yeah. Which is gross.
But it's ingenious.
It is.
It's like...
That reminds me of... oh my goodness, what is that guy's name? He hasn't... when they were eating the tainted meat scene.
Bob. Yes.
The tainted meat scene.
Yeah, we go, tainted meat.
That's awesome.
That's exactly what that reminded me of.
Yeah, it reminded me of that real quick. And it is genius. I'd like to know what kind of effect it's having, but that's probably not going to be a thing so much later. Like, is it killing them? Is it just making them sick?
Making them sick?
Or is it doing anything?
Just making them, in general, unhealthy, less healthy.
Because everyone's already tainted. That's been known for quite a while now. So it's like, it's not going to make them more tainted, but is it going to...
weaken them.
Is it? Yeah.
As a group.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, oh goodness, I loved that reveal.
I love that one guy's, ability to just take times.
Oh yeah, he's kind of like the head knight.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call him, so I'm just gonna call him knights.
Did they say his name? I can't remember.
Brian? Might be Brian.
It just doesn't sound right. Brian. It doesn't sound right for a knight.
We see Morgan kind of interacting with some of the people there. He agrees to train this guy who, I don't know if that's his son. Like, we're introduced to the new character.
Whose son?
The son of the guy that Morgan agreed to train with the staff.
It's not what do you mean he's the son?
Like, there's some kid that this guy's looking out for. Was it? I was kind of confused. Was this his son?
Ezekiel's son?
No, not Ezekiel. The kid who's getting trained looks like a kid.
No,
but he's looking after this other kid. You know who I'm talking about?
It's not his son. It's his little brother.
Okay,
so they explained that his dad was killed.
That's right.
And that's like, it's older brother, little brother. Older brother is now like the dad.
Okay, and looking out for him.
Yeah.
So okay, that makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, dude, when did you, like, geez, you were like 12.
Yeah.
It was, that threw me off for a sec. They explained it real quick.
Yeah. And I thought that was kind of a cool interaction for Morgan to go through, because he's kind of, he's like Carol. What I love what they did last season with Carol and Morgan were two opposite ends of the spectrum as far as how they handle bad people.
It's strange. What I like about it, it's you've got on two opposite ends,
right?
And like they are now forced to not only be together and they're opposite, but they're loners. So now they have to be together.
Their ways have kind of like gone like this as far as the spectrum that they've on. Now Morgan has been forced to take life. Carol has been forced to
value it.
To exactly. And to understand that there's another way. You don't have to just kill someone.
Which is freaking me out about Carol and her little visions, because that's gonna get someone killed.
Okay, so the visions are you talking about, like workers as people? I want to say that was a one-time deal, that they were trying to make you realize she was having a fever and she was being a bit hallucinatory.
I don't know. I don't
know.
I think it just was like supporting the whole premise of Carol not wanting to kill anymore. Like I really,
even walkers.
But in her head, it's like she's going through so much in this. Like, I've killed so many people, and I've killed so many walkers, and these walkers used to be people. And it's like she's seeing them, like she's having these visions of these. She's going through so much, like recognizing what she's become, and like she's going like away from that. Like her whole mind is like terrified by the idea that that's what she's become. And like I see that as like she's seeing these, because after that she didn't see a walker. Well, nope, take that back. She killed the walker in the house. Guess it doesn't matter. So maybe it was a one-time thing.
I'm hoping it is. I don't want it to be like this that she's going through,
because it's gonna get someone killed.
Yeah. And then she'll just revert back to it. There was a question that they asked her in The Talking Dead. What do you think Carol's response will be to when she finds out what happened to Glenn and Abraham? Will she attack or...
Wait, one more time?
So on The Talking Dead, they asked, what do you think Carol's reaction will be when she finds out what happened to Glenn and Abraham? Will she go on the attack or will she grieve?
If she goes on the attack, they're all going to die. So they...
what will she want
to do? Right now, she'd like do nothing-ish. Like, she's still in this weird transition state with her personality and like what drives her. You know what I mean? She's like, I have to... Protecting is an important goal, but do I have to kill people to do that? First of all, I don't think they're going to know. She's going to know for quite some time. I think it'll be quite a few episodes. What is she doing in this house? Like, is she done?
It's a compromise. It's a house that's just outside of the kingdom. So she's kind of like neighbors. So she's got her independence. It kind of reminded me. So my grandmother, when she moved down to Florida, where I lived at the time, to be closer to us, and she didn't want to move in with us. So my dad was able to like find a house in the neighborhood that was like literally across the street for her to live in, so that we could be close, but she still have her independence. So that situation, where she's there, but she's not there.
Yeah.
And I actually like that. That's where it went.
I'm just, is she staying there? Like, it feels weird. It feels like Morgan likes this place a lot, and it feels like Carol just doesn't want to do anything anymore. It kind of feels like if they could just never find out what happened to any of them, and they'd just be like, whatever, I'm not part of this group anymore, because Carol was trying to leave anyways.
Right. That's true.
So does Carol have to go back now? You know what I mean? Unless she did find out something. Or say they tell, hypothesis, maybe they tell Rick and his group to go collect from the kingdom.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
And Carol is...
I don't know.
Because in the previews, it was like, Rick was like, guys, you don't understand. Negan is in charge now. Like, looks like Rick got broken pretty bad. And anyone would have.
Yeah.
Except for Daryl, apparently.
Yeah, and we get to find out that
Daryl.
this week. It's all your fault.
Friggin' Daryl. Abraham was fine. Glenn was not fine.
So what I like to do with these is I do like to do on a scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate?
The Well?
Yeah.
8.
I agree. 8.
8. I think it was really good for story development. It did keep me pretty intrigued with the way things were gonna go, but it was slightly boring, and it's just like I wish I had a little bit more from it, you know.
Yeah, the thing that holds it back for me. Do you watch Fear the Walking Dead?
No.
I didn't like what they did in the second half of the second season that we just got through before Walking Dead premiered again. What they did was they separated the group into 3 different stories.
Oh.
And when you think about it, our group now, the Walking Dead like 4 or 5 different groups. Some we haven't even heard from you. Like Tara. Like she's out and about. We haven't seen her for like several episodes. And like
see, I don't care about her.
I'm
pretty much originals are who I care about.
Right.
There are a few. At this point, I care about Abraham's little Spanish girl. And I care about
Rosita.
Yeah, Rosita. Yeah, see, I can't ever I'm terrible with names and dates, by the way.
I can't remember new characters. It takes me forever to
Bob, see, I liked Bob. I cared about Bob, but I thought his death was hilarious, so I was like, that's fine.
That totally fit.
And I think the only original character I didn't care about, because even Merle had his redemption.
Yes.
The only I didn't care about was Dale. Like, for some reason, I just didn't like Dale. He was annoying. And when he died, I was like, oh well.
Dale face.
Well, I take that back. I do care about Maggie. I cared about Herschel. Beth's death almost made
They're not original.
I know. Beth's death almost made me cry. Like,
see, Beth, no effect on me.
I don't understand, man. Well, Beth's death actually made me mad more than it did make me sad, because I was like, they literally just did all that for you, and you screwed it up. But
Beth rubbed me the wrong way from when we were first introduced to her in season 2,
when
and
she punched the mirror.
No, she's doing the whole suicidal nonsense.
And she was trying to cut herself with the mirror.
Oh my goodness! Like that. Once a character goes to that point, to me, like, it's hard for me to like feel sorry for them later on. I know she got past that.
Yeah.
But she never was a character that really like I came to care for.
I used to think like when it got later, like Beth and Carl were gonna be like a couple or something.
That entered my mind.
But I realized how much of an age difference there was, so I was like, whatever. I never thought Beth and Daryl would be a thing, though.
Well, and honestly, I think for me that was a tragic thing about her death.
Yeah,
was seeing the effect that it had on
Daryl. Yeah.
Yeah. And Daryl, man, it seemed
because he was like,
he took it hard.
Go, man. Like, it was bad.
But
that's why you got to stop being close to people. Apocalypse happens. Stop having sentimental moments. People die.
Yeah. Also, don't a speech, or don't have like a huge like character development moment,
because you'll get shot in the head and it'll come out your eyeball.
With Abraham and Eugene, I knew that when they came to to an understanding during the season, one of them is dead. One of them is dead.
So outside of the comic, what was Glenn's thing? Glenn just died.
No, it was, well, he died. It was a random pick, or was it? Because he did have that emotional outburst during the finale when he had the bat near Maggie, and he kind of like went at Negan, and Negan's like, no, I want you to understand, I will shut that down. I will give you you get like a one-time warning because, I get it. And that was their one warning. And then when Daryl did it, he was going to kill someone else.
It was,
so maybe it was, he targeted Glenn.
Negan's also a psychopath, which means that he knows people. He can read people really easily. He's really smart. Like, he broke Rick which Rick's been through some crap.
Yeah. At this point, to break Rick and have it make sense and not forced.
And it was quick. Like, think about it.
A few hours.
A few hours. It was fast. That is not a lot of time.
And think about where we saw Rick in the season finale. He felt like he was on top of the world and unstoppable.
Yeah.
And
like he had it going.
Yeah,
for him.
and you knew that.
And then now we find out that Rick wasn't even as. So, anyways, he's clearly a psychopath. He can read people. He made a passing comment to Rick that he was talking about his right hand man, and he was like, oh, did I get yours? It was like, yeah, he was like, Rick, you must have a right hand. One of them, you know what I mean? It was like, it's almost like he knew. You know what I mean? That Glenn was the other one. Glenn was the right hand man. Like at that point.
I don't know. Daryl has kind of always struck me as like
Daryl is like
the enforcer.
Daryl's the dirty work guy,
That's
not
true.
the right hand man.
That is
Glenn
true.
was the right hand man.
Because that's true. Whenever they'd have like
Carl was the right hand man. He was that, but like Glenn was the right hand man. Daryl was the dirty work. I mean, people got introduced along the way, but
yeah, I don't like the fact that we have these three different stories now. We have Morgan and Carol at the Kingdom. We have Rick's group, and then now we have Daryl.
Yeah, now it's Daryl.
That's what this week is going to be about. So, 8 out of 10. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I know they were going for that the whole like respite thing. It served its purpose for sure.
Needed one.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's not only did they kill them both, like they ruined them both. Like, oh, that was bad. That was bad. And I was told about it, and I actually did not watch the first episode of this season until 2 days ago, when I also watched The Well. And I knew about it, and I still was not prepared for that. That was bad. That was really bad. I didn't cry or anything, but that was so bad. Ugh.
All right.
Great season start, though. So far.
Yes, yeah. Looking forward to what they do with the rest of it.
But yeah, but what I'm... Oh, yeah, but it is intriguing to this kingdom. This big... It's a pretty big community. You don't even get to see the full scope of it.
Yeah.
And if they are self-producing enough for them to just have pomegranates already...
And they're living underneath the whole Negan tax, give me half your stuff.
Yeah, they're doing great. Which means Negan must be really, really powerful. Like,
yeah. If
he's
he's got them under their boot, definitely.
And it's not just them. It's like if he had to put all of his manpower into having them, whatever. But he is successfully holding multiple settlements under his control. It's crazy. Yeah. And I think he's gonna be around for a while.
Definitely.